Hello, and welcome to the first ever HardpinLabs Live, an interactive space for creators, campaigns, and organizations who want to sharpen their storytelling and create content that really connects. Think of it as an open lab where we share what we've learned, trade best practices, and bring in experts who can help you push your content further. Whether it's elevating a great story or unlocking the full potential of the gear you've already have, we'll tackle it live in real time so you can engage with us, ask questions, and learn alongside the community. And remember, once you're tuned in, you can ask questions at any time. Just go to hardpin.live and submit your questions there, and they'll be queued up right away. You can also take your interaction to the next level by joining us on Mukana, our second screen experience. There, you'll be able to submit questions, participate in the chat, and vote questions up and down to help us prioritize the things that we need to get to for the community. Before I go any further, let me first introduce our panelists. I'll start with Russell Calkins, partner and CTO here at Hardpin. He runs our tech stack and has developed our cloud storage solutions, which we use internally, and we're part of the solution for the Harris and Biden campaign. We also have Will Heiler here, our creative leads a lot of our innovation efforts around AI and oversees all of our animation and design work. Finally, we have Sarah Koenigsberg here, our supervising producer. She brings over 15 years of experience across media, documentaries, political work, advocacy. Since joining Hardpin, she's led projects for many of our high-profile clients, including the ACLU, Emily's List, Vital Voices, and the Biden then Harris campaign, just to name a few. Really excited to have all of our panelists join us and all of you at home who are here to talk with us and engage and deal with some of these wonderful questions that we have submitted. Just to give people a little taste before we get started, I'm going to toss it over to Russ, who's going to walk us through Mukana, that second screen experience, which is so vital to how we hope to engage with folks around the questions and the solutions we're talking about on this show. Russ?
Yeah, one of the reasons we're super excited about this platform is this Mukana second screen experience, and we're broadcasting the show to a lot of different platforms, but then we're aggregating kind of all the questions back into one funnel. And if you look around here, let's see. The event chat happens right here. The actual feed where you can watch the show is integrated right there. And then all the way over on the side there, you have your question. We have our question interface. And the kind of magic of it is if you go into this, you can upvote and downvote questions that you want to hear the answer to. And we can respond to whatever is the most kind of popular and compelling question of kind of our entire audience and of our community. So we're really excited about it because the community we're hoping the community is really going to drive the content of the show. It's not what we want to talk about. It's what you want to hear about. So that's that interface is available at full.hardpin.live. We hope that everyone participates that way and really helps drive the content of the show because that's one of the things we're super excited about in this platform.
That's right. And for those folks that want to use that second screen experience on their mobile device, you can go to event.hardpin.live on your mobile phone in the browser, and you'll be able to access the chat, the questions, and the voting there as well, and then continue to watch either on YouTube or LinkedIn. Really excited to get started. Let's get to our first question. This one comes to us from Tim. What's the key to video breaking through on social, especially for small nonprofits without a lot of resources? Great question. I'm going to toss this one to Russ first. What are your thoughts?
Well, social used to be really it was kind of a fair place. I'm going to be honest. Now it's pretty pay to play. So for small folks, the way you pay to play is with sweat equity and with you work in there and you post stuff all the time on a regular cadence and you build your community, and that's how you can get that boost. Going from zero to something is actually real hard. Going from a community that you've built to something is much easier. So either you pay to do it and you pay the platforms to do it, or you do it with your time and your effort.
I think that's true. Sarah, any thoughts to add?
Yeah, I think experimenting and just having fun on the platforms and really being someone who's actually engaging in the platforms themselves, because each platform is a little different. So you do need to be a user a bit to really understand, what's trending or yeah, what's going off already viral on those platforms. And it also doesn't hurt to partner with a high profile person or influencer, or somebody that already has a bunch of followers or a platform. All of the platforms, including actually YouTube, just rolled out with cross-posting abilities as well. So it's a great way to sometimes cross-post um, across an already popular platform or profile. And then really just I think for smaller nonprofits, really honing in on what your message is, what the story that you want to
Right.
tell. And I think that that goes a long way as well.
Totally. I always think about this in terms of like authenticity and like being true to yourself. And that's what, ultimately will hopefully connect with the audience you're trying to reach. And so you're really thinking about that, thinking about what you're trying to say and who you're speaking to, and making sure that that comes through in that work that you do, whether it's, again, through sweat equity or through creator partnerships, whatever it is. Great question. All right, let's get right to the next one. This one comes to us from James. How are you thinking about the impact of AI on content creation? Any recommendations for how to integrate it into your current production workflow? This is a really good question. We are constantly talking about AI here at Hardpin. I'm going to let Russ take us away on this one first, too.
Great. How do you how do you build it into your workflow? My answer would be carefully, very carefully. It's not all that reliable yet. And frankly, the output of it isn't all that good yet. But what it is really good at is it's great at generating ideas and getting your mind thinking. I would not want to let AI loose to like post my social ideas, but I totally would want to let AI loose to say, hey, give me 20 of your best takes on this subject. And then I go through the 20 and I pick the one I like the best. And then that's my starting point to work it into how I want my messaging to go. Right. So carefully, with great oversight and care would be my answer.
Sarah, as somebody who sort of leads a lot of our projects here at Hardpin, how are you thinking about that question?
Well, I'll just say, maybe I'll push back a little on that, Russ, in that it's sort of hard to not, uh, in terms of carefully, like it already is here, even against our will in a sense. So AI is incorporated into a lot of our software that we're using. So for example, let's say we're editing on Adobe Premiere, that already has a bunch of AI incorporated. So it's not something that we even can really turn off. So it's something that's where we want to immediately also just start learning to help us move faster. And it has had a lot of benefits as well in that capacity.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to jump back in and say it's a tool, right? Like,
Right.
and you have to treat it like a tool.
Mhm.
It's the greatest, it's like the biggest advance in tools in our profession in the last like 15 years, right? And if you're not using it and you're not at least fluent in how it can be used, you're doing yourself a massive, massive disservice. I'd like to steal from Scott Galloway and say I don't think AI is not coming for our jobs. People who can use AI are coming for our jobs, and you have to be fluent in the tools that are available to you, and they're everywhere. It's
Yep.
kind of inescapable.
Yeah,
Maybe careful in what you tell AI because you don't want to divulge too much of your personal or you can, but that's where you could be careful. But otherwise, in terms of yeah, like the software, I mean, yeah, it is remarkable the ways that it can help us be faster at our jobs. But we still need the humans to know how to use those tools.
for sure. And well, you lead a lot of our AI exploration. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are here.
Well, it was 1996, and I was playing on a Windows 95 computer. And I've spent the last 20 years trying to find this game. It had something to do with widgets, but I fell in love with nodes at that moment, right? Where it was this wiring game where you could like turn on lights by just wiring positive and negative points. I need more descriptive language than that because it covers so many bases. But the point is that I think visual effects artists, motion graphic designers are especially well poised to take advantage. And I'm talking about the image part of AI generation here, obviously, but even the text part, because that really the prompting and all that comes into it, are really well prepared to incorporate this stuff in because of that kind of node-based workflow that is inherent in visual effects and motion graphics anyway. So when AI first sort of came on the scene here, that same love that I had there of that game sort of piqued my interest, and that kind of was got me into After Effects and Fusion and all the different platforms that are available for this kind of stuff. I don't think about AI generation as a complete solution. I don't know that anybody does. Anyone can after experimenting with it for a little bit, but as an atomized part of your workflow, as a piece of material generator that you can then bring into your other streams, I often use it to, generate, character pieces, whether it's like a different expression on a face if I need to make an animation for like a collage style animation or asset generator like that. Music and audio, that's a whole nother thing that also works really well in that pipeline as well. But that's kind of how I think about it is a part of an elaborate sort of lattice that you set up to get to your end goal. And it has a place that can function well, but it's certainly not a turnkey solution for your end thing.
Got it. Yeah, I think there's a lot. Obviously we've dabbled a lot, and there's been some like real practical applications. And I wanted to kind of come back to you on one thing specifically, because we've talked about it in the past. It feels like one place where it's really become impactful fast was on the audio side. Is there anything you want to sort of like touch on there that's worth sort of exploring and sharing with the audience?
Well, I just wrapped up in my answer by saying it's not a turnkey solution, but I suppose I have to walk that back when I talk about like voiceover or music, because in many ways, Suno, for example, one of the popular music generators, just dropped their V5, and alongside it, they dropped their sort of online DAW as well. It's like you can go in and edit the tracks right down to each individual instrument and lyric. I haven't had a chance to play with it extensively, and I suspect that it's somewhat limited, but the fact that that tool set is expanding so that not only can you generate a complete thing, but then go back and reverse engineer it and fiddle with it is really exciting. That's kind of a thing that I was thinking about, how if you could generate an image and it would also give you the Photoshop layers, or you want, you want a thing, but it gives you the whole project file, that would be phenomenal. In many ways, that is happening with music, at least, and with voiceover. It's hard to find a flaw with it right now, right? Like at this point, I often just pull my microphone out. I don't care if, there's something happening in the other room. Like I don't need all the padding anymore. I focus on my performance. I have my own clone of my own voice, or I can pick from, many of the licensed voices out there to use, and you get a stellar performance every time. So those are really almost turnkey solutions.
Yeah, that's an unexplored and unpopular. Like most people don't know of that implementation of AI, and especially AI voices. Most people think I can make up a voice and make it say whatever I want, but it's also like it's a post-production hack to have a perfect microphone, right? Like you have a perfect clone of your own voice, and you speak off mic, and the audio is terrible. And the audio is terrible way off mic. But if it's good enough to get a transcript, you can feed it right back into the clone of your own voice and make you again, and just make the microphone perfect in post. So most folks don't know that, but anyway, that's an emerging interesting part.
Yeah, it reminds me of a video, Russ, that you made for our TikTok Labs channel a while back, where you and Will, like, I forget whether it's Will cloned you or you cloned Will, but it's sort of an example of that, like sort of the dark arts of it. And obviously that's already like dated, and I'm sure it's gotten way better than that was just in a short while. Great question. We love the AI questions. There's a lot of those internally, and we are constantly discussing this stuff. So I really appreciate these kinds of questions. All right, the next one comes to us from Quentin. This is, what's the best way to kickstart the creative process hand in hand with a potential client? Well, who better to answer that question than our creative director, Will? What say you?
Sorry, I don't have something quippy here to open this one with, but essentially, there is no best way, right? Like, I mean, the end goal, the place you want to get to, and there's many different ways to get there, is a place where you are vibing together, right? So a client's going to show up. They're going to have certain hopes for the product that they're going to walk away with. Sometimes that is something that's very creative, something that's unique, something surprising. Other times it's going to be something that fulfills a need, is exact. They kind of know the parameters, and creative appears in all of those different gradients of how your project shows up. So really, primarily it's about getting to know your client, who you're talking to, what their interest is, what it is that they want, and from there sort of dialing it in. Now, I always get excited about clients who show up and want to get crazy on things, right? They were like, I don't know, but I'm excited about this, and I have a feeling that I want people to feel when they walk away from this video. And then it's about trying to uh, dig in my bag of references and things that I've seen throughout my career. Same with them. Everyone's got a collection of things that really speaks to them and gives them that sensation, whatever one you're sort of going for. And you pull that all together in Miro, hopefully, right? You can either do that through an exercise at the beginning where you say, let's figure out who you are, what your voice is, for, your company, what your goals are, where you want to go. And really, you get to just then interpret that together. What is exciting about that to you? What can you bring in from your side of the field, and I bring in mine, and we kind of mix it together. And I think it's that consensus moment that you want to get to, where you've got some exciting elements, you've got an idea of where you want to go, but you agree, right, that these are the ingredients. And from there, it's largely about trying to form them, encounter. I mean, the creative process, any process is largely about encountering surprising roadblocks or just the reality of the world, right? And then trying to maneuver around it. So when you have that consensus, you can do that successfully. You can get to a place where you both feel satisfied at the end. And I think that's a way I think about starting the creative process.
Totally. For me, I always think about it as like a version of improv. It's like that yes and energy of like you're trying to add to each other's ideas. You're trying to really pull things in a direction that begins to sort of like really incorporate everyone's thinking, where it sort of helps the idea. And yeah, Hardpin, I think, we're always sort of like down to get creative and collaborate and really think through ideas. And when we get the opportunity, well, like you said, to sort of work on something that isn't fully formed, it's just sort of a lump of clay. It's a lot of fun to sort of explore that with a client and begin to see where that takes the idea. Great question. Thank you for that one, Quentin. And let's get right into our next one. This is a fun one for me, but I'm going to let Russ answer it first. Tanner says, where does the name Hardpin come from? Russ, you want to give your take on this?
So when you're on our company started kind of as a continuation of the Obama digital campaign. A bunch of folks who worked together in 12 wanted to keep making stuff. And Hardpin staff was a designation. They'd give you a little pin, and it basically meant you were trusted, right? That designation meant that you were trusted with the biggest secrets and the highest levels, and they didn't have to ever hide anything from you. And so coming out, I think that's what I hope it means now. It means that we're trusted and we can be trusted.
Yeah, great answer. I can speak to this a little more personally, and I will take some credit here. I sort of came up with the name originally, and the genesis for me was as being part of that 2012 reelection campaign. Myself, Adam, who's one of our other partners here, and in fact, my wife, who doesn't work at Hardpin but is obviously a friend of the pin. In We were the sort of Obama road team. So we traveled with him, and at a certain point, we needed to be within arm's reach of the then president, and we had to get hard pinned. Which was a physical pin that we wore that gave us a lot of access, and was sort of like a real point of pride for us from a standpoint of like how the sort of the trust that we were given with that access, to make sure we still, we didn't overstep. We remained professional at all times. We made sure we took advantage of that access, and really tried to capture, these sort of intimate moments and stories while President Obama was on the road, sort of meeting his constituents and sort of engaging with the electorate. And it was an amazing experience, and it it really helped sort of like inform how we thought about starting a company, and that's how the name came up. And in the early days of Hardpin, there was a lot of contention around Hardpin having a capital H and a P, and that's how it existed for about 10 years. And then we did a rebrand. Shout out to our friends at Wide Eye, and we have now gone to just having it be Hardpin without a capital P, which does work and is nice. Sarah, any thoughts to add here? I would love your perspective on this too, being somebody who was sort of introduced to the brand when you started working here.
I was just going to add that since we were founded after the 2012 election, we've worked with a number of other presidents and former presidents and still continue to get hard pins. So when I traveled with, or I've traveled a couple times with former President Clinton, and I actually got a soft pin though on those
Yeah.
on those
Yeah.
trips. But hard pin is a better name than soft pin, and
Yeah.
also those pins are for Secret Service. That's really what it's for, just to also for to designate, like you said, yeah, you're with the president.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so a hard pin is definitely a better name than
Yeah.
soft pin.
The funny thing about it is that when you have that, like the Secret Service knows you're good, but most times other people don't, like local police and event space security. And so you end up having to always, like, we used to have to find like a Secret Service agent to bring over and be like, no, 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 we're good, we're good, which is like a funny thing. And I will just say that the sort of lower tier of this, which was a joke name we thought about for like a second, was then there's the soft patch, which is the sticker, which is the lowest on the totem pole of access and authority when it comes to presidential events. Russ, you had something to add?
No, just that I got a jar of soft pins that I feel like was like my
I hope
somewhere
the Secret
like
Service
somewhere
is
on my
not
shelf.
listening.
Somewhere on my shelf, it's like a tryout. Before I was hardpin, I had they took a while to say you're okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely do their background checks ahead of giving those out for sure. Okay, let's get to our next question and we'll keep it moving here. This one comes to us from Susan. In a word where in a world where platforms and algorithms change constantly, what's one thing that still makes video work? Great question. I'm going to throw this right to Sarah. I feel like she's going to have a good answer for us here.
Yes, so we're storytellers at heart. So I really think it's just about telling a good story and really also evoking some emotion, whatever that emotion may be. I think uh, our media tends to evoke a little too much fear than I would like. So we obviously have to. There is a lot of fear in our world, of course, but there are also other times that we're able to do more hopeful videos and evoke other types of messaging of connection and so anyway, what is the emotion that you're trying to evoke? What is the story that you're trying to tell? I think that's the bread and butter of it.
Great. Russ, anything to add to that? I thought that was a great answer.
Yeah, just content is king. Like if you want something to go, if you want some people to watch stuff, it has to be good. I'm a film school kid at heart, so I I'm an aging film school kid. I've been in 3 act for a really long time, and I think the structure of social videos is a little bit different now. Instead of having act 1, act 2, act 3, I think you have to structure it like hook, a little bit of info, and then payoff, right? And that hook has to happen real fast. That hook has to hit before someone can swipe. So, and that hook has to be a promise, right? That hook has to be like, I'm going to entertain you. I'm going to make you laugh. I promise I'm going to make you sound smart at dinner parties, whatever that hook is, right? That embedded in that hook is an offer of value. And then you stick around for a little bit of info and then you pay it off, right? And a lot of times I'll notice like, everyone says it's got to be, 30 seconds, whatever. I get served tons of content that's like 10 minutes. And usually it's just that pattern repeated, right? It's hook, info, hook, info, payoff. And then they'll immediately land me with another hook to keep me interested again. And then they'll give me more info, and then they'll pay that one off. And then they'll hook me again. And it's just like, it's a cycle. So I think that's usually a pretty good structure for kind of social for videos in the social age where people will leave if they're not entertained.
Yeah. I think for me, I always come back to, authenticity. I think whatever that is for you, for the creator, for the organization, that thing sort of stays true forever and sort of will be, again, the algorithm doesn't care about authenticity, but I think the viewer ultimately cares about authenticity to a degree. Again, especially when you're trying to, um, uh, you know, create impact or share a call to action, whatever it is. I think authenticity always sort of resonates for me when it comes to being sort of timeless to a degree. Okay, next question. We're burning through these. And again, thanks to everybody in the community for submitting. And I just wanted to, before we get to the next one, actually just really quickly re-up that you can submit questions at any time. You can submit a question right now and we can still get to it. Just head over to hardpin.live or scan that QR code that's right below me. And you can submit those questions there. And obviously, if you're on Mukana, our second screen experience, then you can submit a question in the next 3 seconds and we can vote it up and then we'll get right to it. But let's get to the next question that's on deck. This one comes to us from Ed. Do most of your clients come to you for high-end productions, or have you also supported projects that lean more scrappy, like content recorded on phones, stills, mixed format work, that kind of stuff? Good question. I will say, heck yeah. We do all manner of work. Obviously, our bread and butter is professional content creation, professional production solutions. But the way that we are able to implement those, the way we're able to sort of support a range of clients with our solutions, it's really scalable. And we try to do a good job of designing solutions that service the need that a client has, but also recognizes what the limitations are on budget, scope, time, whatever it is. So we've definitely worked with, found footage, cell phone footage, whatever it is, and try to sort of turn that into something that is really effective for our clients. Sarah, I know you work with a lot of our clients that are sort of all over the spectrum. What are your thoughts on this question?
Yeah, you pretty much answered that, Simon. So yeah, we work across the board. I'd say, yeah, we do a lot of higher end productions that could be, short films or videos for event coverage or television ads that are seen, nationally or also locally. But we definitely do a range. I mean, even some of those, both TV and paid digital advertisements, could be user generated content. It's very effective. And cell phone footage. We just did a big event this past summer that was fully on cell phones. We tend to try to do the top end of the iPhone that we're going to use, and we bring in lights and try and obviously we're going to make it look as great as possible. I mean, the thing that is remarkable, we've talked about AI, but also with, we didn't have these types of phones 15 years ago to be able to use, for example, an iPhone for high-end video production or higher end. And also just in general, cameras are getting lighter and smaller. And so, there is still a desire for some productions that will have bigger and impressive equipment, but other times, no matter
Right.
what, there's just smaller and still great quality equipment out there. And also
Right.
we do a lot of still photography that we'll add on sometimes as well to our to certain projects too. That I think it mentions stills in the question.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to pull Russ into this a little bit because you brought up the iPhone, and I think obviously there's a lot of the new iPhone just came out, and there's a lot of advertisement with that iPhone around how you can basically shoot a movie and do all of this amazing stuff. And Russ, I would love sort of your POV on this because I think there's a lot of truth to what you're capable of with that, but obviously there's also some caveats, and so I would love you to just give some of your perspective on that.
Well, my first perspective is I'm gonna steal something else here that you're the best camera is the one that's with you usually, right? And authenticity in that and capturing that moment is more important than anything else. But it helps if it looks good. And they're definitely selling iPhones as like you can do anything and it's amazing. And if you watch the BTS of those commercials they're making, they're like shooting Lord of the Rings and then they have an iPhone in the middle of it. And there's more that goes into
Right.
making a great picture than the camera. Like they have 1,000 extras and 15 tons of grip and like 50 crew and they spent a day and a half lighting it. Like if you get into there, yeah, your iPhone's gonna look pretty good. but there's more that goes into a great image than just the camera. This is kind of a duality of that.
Yeah, for sure. And again, to Russ, your sort of original point, ultimately, like work with what you got, make sure you capture the thing you ultimately need, and then there's obviously a lot of work you can do to sort of add to that, layer things on top. Post production, is both a very you can't make the impossible possible, though with AI that's changing too, I guess. But there is a lot you can do in post production to sort of really scale bring up the value of the content that you're working with. And so
The audio also is
oh
always,
yeah.
I mean, that's the most important thing to me in a way. Like if you have terrible audio, it's also bad. So, you know, that is another consideration that sometimes like the iPhone or depending on the situation, you might not have the
Right.
best audio as well.
Yeah, I remember Russ, you said this a while back that like even like for something like this where where somebody's watching a live stream or a live event, if somebody's watching the screen, they stop paying attention and they start listening at a certain point. So you better make sure your audio is clear because that's the thing that's going to sort of connect with the audience more. And in fact, earlier in the chat, somebody noted that they couldn't hear Will for a second, and then they could. So whatever that was, whatever that little tech snafu was, we addressed it. But God forbid you can't hear Will. He's got, oh, no, I made him feel shy. No, he's back. All right. Okay. That was a great question. I think this might be our last question of the day. So excited to dig in here. This one comes to us from TJ. Is high-end video still a good investment? And was it ever? I imagine it's hard to track the efficacy of it all. Sarah, what say you?
Also, did we just lose Russ? Oh,
I
there we go.
think we might have, but we're going to work to get him back.
Okay.
But that just shows you tech is, it's always dicey.
Well, my answer is yes. High-end video is a good investment. And yeah, I mean, I think having having regular video content is very important, and also having like a signature piece for your organization. I mean, there's a lot of I definitely agree that investing matters.
Yeah, for sure. Russ, do we have you back? Let's check here because I think you wanted to weigh in on this, and then I have some stuff to add at the end here. Russ, go ahead.
Yes, it's still worth it. I think high-end video really sets your place as being an authority in the subject, and really sets your brand. And I think that's the real value of it now. And it can still go viral and that kind of stuff, but like really setting the terms and setting the highlights of your brand and what you're about. It's still good to do that in a high profile way.
Also,
Yeah.
sometimes the higher end like productions are not everything is about going viral. Like
Right.
something that you might make that's higher end might not be for social media or so it could be investing in a video for funders or for a million different things that it's worth putting the resources into. And it's also not even just about the actual production. It's also, we also do pre-production. We do the creative brainstorms that we've talked about,
Yep.
like honing in on your message. And and then post with graphics and a million different things that just what's considered like higher end production isn't just like the actual production like filming either. So yeah.
Right. And actually that tees up my thoughts on this in a really great way. Like where my head went with this is yes, it is high-end video is worth the investment, and part of that investment needs to be in strategy. Like if you're going to spend money on a great video, you better have a plan for how to get it in front of the right people or the people you're looking to get it to, or whether that's a buy strategy or an organic strategy, and really think about that. And one of the things we talk about with our clients sometimes when we're having these discussions about video investments is, you know, is this a high visibility moment? Is this a moment where a lot of eyes are going to be drawn to what you have to say or what you're communicating or the sort of action you're trying to generate? And that those are opportunities to really think about making, a substantive investment in the story you're trying to tell. But strategy, I think, is a big component. It's one of the reasons we're always eager to sort of bring in our partner company at Novel Messaging for their strategy support, and they do a ton of stuff that really helps set up the content we create for success and really you know makes it successful because now you're getting it in front of the people that need to see it, and you're measuring it, and you're able to sort of leverage that engagement in the right way. So having a great strategy plan, doing the pre-production, all of those things are important, and they are part of that investment. So when you think about investing in high-end video, you really should be thinking about investing in all of the things that go into not just making that content, but distributing it, and then also leveraging what comes out of that distribution, meaning how people engage with it and what you do with that engagement so that you really get value. So great question. Great questions in general. I really appreciate everyone that sort of engaged in our little community today. It's our first episode. I think it went really well. We had a couple little tech snafus here. A little audio goes out, a little camera goes out over there. But all in all, we stayed up. I wanted to, before we sort of end the stream, I wanted to throw it to Russ really quick and just talk quickly through a little bit of the tech stack here, because we're sort of coming to you, in a nicely designed screen where we've got camera cuts happening. But there is a lot of layers baked into this cake, not just to make it look good, but also to make sure that if there's a failure point, that we have backups and redundancies. And Russ has done a masterful job of building that. And so I wanted to give him a minute here at the end to just talk us through that a little bit, so that people get a better sense of just what it takes to pull something like this off.
Sure. So it's a live show, so that's fun, right? It's a live show coming from everybody's house, so that's fun, right? We don't own all the connections and that kind of stuff, but we try to be as reliable as we can. And for the ingest for our cameras here, we're using Zoom. We're using the high-end level of Zoom events because they got big servers and they're reliable, and they're a great company that's really responsive when you have issues and you talk to them. Then we're pumping it through a local mixer here. I think we're using Nemo Live for this particular show to kind of make this look and have all this stuff and switch it. That one's we like the customizability of that one, and then from there we're pushing it to Restream. And the big reason we're pushing it to Restream, well, there's two reasons. One is because we can have a backup stream at Restream, so if lightning hits if lightning hits here and my internet goes down, we can pump a backup stream directly from Zoom. So that's all in the cloud. So this show never goes down. Even if my whole building goes down, the show stays up, which is nice. And then also from Restream, it's very good at distributing to a lot of different sources. So eventually, for this show right now, we're going to LinkedIn and we're going to YouTube. But I mean, I would like to go I'd like to go to Twitter. I'd like to go to Substack. I'd like to go to Blue Sky. And then eventually I'd like to simulcut a 9x16 show and push that to TikTok Live and push that to Instagram as well. Our goal here is to be really multi-platform and then consolidate the community questions back into one place and really find the viewers where they're at. So Restream is a great place to do that, to send your feed, and then it effectively pushes it out to all your different distribution partners. So that's kind of our stack. It probably needs a picture.
Not bad. And I'll just add, I think that's to your point at the end there about getting it on as many platforms and as possible, while also simultaneously consolidating the community that we're trying to build. And that's why I think for us, we saw a lot of value in having the chat and the questions be part of a second screen experience, because that can really sort of you can engage with that whether you're watching it on YouTube, with LinkedIn, or whatever other platforms we ultimately end up on, and allows people to sort of have that central place for discussion.
Also, weighing into the YouTube comment section is messy business. That's not someplace you want to go, right? And so we're sitting in a place where we can control the folks coming in here, and bad actors or trolls or that kind of stuff. We're in a position where we can kick them out and keep our space a nice place to be, right?
Yeah.
And by funneling our content questions into here, we can make sure that happens, and that's important to us too.
Yeah. We want this to be a positive space, and having some ability to make sure that everyone that's participating is participating genuinely and with the same intention in mind is important to us all. And speaking of the chat, we had somebody just raise another question. We're going to get to that hopefully on our next HardpinLabs Live. Little plug here. We're going to be live again in 2 weeks. We're going to try and be as consistent as possible with this every other Thursday at this time. And hopefully folks will submit some more questions. We'll dive into those. And if you have thoughts on some areas of sort of content creation, the media landscape where you would love us to bring in some expertise, we're really interested in bringing in guest panelists over time. And so would love for folks to help us think about who we should go after, what kind of people we want to bring in that might help provide you with some of those insights that you're looking for around, that sort of touch content creation, whether that, again, is more AI focused, strategy focused, any of those things. We want HardpinLabs Live to be a space where we are able to speak to those things effectively and offer solutions. And we hope that everybody gets some value from that and engages us and helps us make it better over time. Any closing thoughts, guys? What do you think? First show, not too many major flubs here. I know it took some work to get here behind the scenes, but it feels like it went pretty smoothly, all things considered.
I was gearing up to argue that high-end video is not worth it, but you guys convinced me on that one, so I got something of those too. Yeah.
Tune in next time.
The name of the show will soon be "Convince Will." It's like change his mind. All right. Well, thank you. Let me just start by saying thank you to our panelists today, Russ, Sarah, Will. Really appreciate you sort of jumping into the deep end with this with me. I was really excited to get this off the ground finally. I want to shout out our team behind the scenes, Josh, Matt, and really everybody on staff at Hardpin who's been working their tails off on all number of productions while we've tried to find pockets of time to work on this and develop this further. But we're really excited about what this is and what it can ultimately become. And we hope that you'll continue to explore that with us and help us make this thing better, make this into a community that's meaningful and provides answers and solutions that are helpful to the thing you're trying to do. Because ultimately, we want to help everybody create the kind of content that they could be really proud of, whether that's something where we get to be a partner or we're just giving you great advice or giving you some pointers that help you, take that next step. Try something new, improve something, whatever it is. We're excited to do it. We're happy to help. And we're gonna do it again in 2 weeks. So please go ahead and submit those questions at any time. We're gonna start aggregating those as soon as the show wraps. So head over to hardpin.live. And if you want to sign up for the community, start getting the newsletter that'll come out ahead of each of our live shows, head over to hardpinmedia.com/signup. You can sign up there and we'll make sure you get our newsletters moving forward that will let you know about these future episodes. And we'll also address any questions that came in later or we weren't able to answer on that day. We'll make sure we get you some feedback through the newsletter. Excited to do that as well. So thank you all. Have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you being here. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. Bye.